taken those things on myself, but it feels unprofessional to be talking to you, someone who may be struggling. It feels unprofessional for me, to put myself before you, and that's something that I've been struggling with for a long time. I just I go back and forth in my head, and so for me to get past this and to feel congruent inside and to move past this, both what you see on the outside and what I feel on the inside, I felt like I needed to come to you with this today, just to tell you kind of what's going on. But also, I think it will help me connect with you better and help connect with other people better. So I've made a commitment to myself to just really be more congruent, more authentic, at the sake of me in my head feeling, thinking that I'm being unprofessional or I'm being too selfish or whatever it would be. I think that I'm just going to have to move past that. So I wanted to come with you that I wanted to come to you with that I wanted to come to you with that today. That's part of what I wanted to talk about, is that things that you guys may have seen on the outside are definitely not what I feel on the inside. And I'm going to talk more about what I feel on the inside. I'm going to talk more about that in days and weeks to come. So what have I been struggling with today? What have I been struggling with today? One of the things that I've really struggled with in the past is that I like to please people. It's just something that I've grown up feeling. It's just something I've grown up with, is that I like to please people. I get my own, it seems like I get my own self-worth out of pleasing people, and that's difficult, because not only when I please people or try to please people, I'm giving away of myself, but I'm also, when I don't please people, that's a struggle of mine. And I am learning and am continuing to work through that I need to focus on myself and find ways to please myself. And the more I please myself, then that may or may not make other people happy, and I have to be okay with that. So one thing that I really struggle with at times is I have a calendar, and on that calendar it basically has listed out every minute of my day-to-day, and I don't always fit into that calendar of what I don't always fit the things that it says on there. I'm not always doing. And this morning I had a run scheduled at, what was it, 7 a.m. And for whatever reason, I thought about it last night, and then I just for some reason didn't do it. I don't know why, but I didn't set my alarm, and I didn't get up till 7 a.m. And then at 7 a.m. when I got up, I was like, I don't want to run today. I don't want to run. And I just started going into that shame cycle. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Why are you putting this stuff on your calendar and not doing it? Why are it? And so I just started getting in my head. And then after that, then I started to think about dinner tonight and what I was going to fix for dinner. And then I was like, oh yeah, those pork chops. Those pork chops, cooked ribs yesterday on the smoker, but the pork chops I didn't lay out in time to also put those on, and I wanted to put those on for tonight. And I was like, oh yeah, those pork chops that you didn't remember, you didn't lay those pork chops out yesterday in time to defrost. That's another thing. See, you know, what's wrong with you, Randy? What's wrong with you? And so then this morning I got out the pork chops, and they were still not unfrozen, de-thawed. And so then I started tried to put some rub on the pork chops, and I was like, oh, this rub here, this is probably not going to taste good. This rub's not going to taste good. And so on these frozen pork chops, And so I just started continuing to go into this cycle, this negative cycle over and over again. And then I was like, these shoes don't look good with what you're wearing today. And I just kept talking negative to myself, guys. I just kept talking negative to myself. And that's when I then started thinking what I always tell people. And I tweeted out this morning, be your best friend. Be your best friend. And, some of us have best friends, some of us don't have best friends. But what would you want a best friend to say to you in that situation? What would you say to a best friend? And I think that that's what we should say to ourselves. And so part of me this morning remembered what I always tell people is when the negative comes in, you got to fight it with the positive. You got to fight it with the positive. And that's what I started doing. And that's what I'm continuing to do right now. That's what I'm continuing to do right now is I'm continuing to fight that negative with the positive. Of all the negatives that's coming in, all the shame that I've been going through this morning, I've got to pull myself out of it. I've got to tell myself things. You are awesome, Randy. You are awesome. You are awesome. You are awesome, Randy. You are awesome. I love you, Randy. I love you, Randy. I love you, Randy. I love you, Randy. You are awesome. You are awesome. I love you, Randy. You are awesome.